it's just another typically beautiful evening in South Florida, and here in Miami at Marlins Park, getting set for the second game of this four-game series between the Pirates and the Marlins. Hi again, everybody, along with John Wehner. I'm Tim Neverett. Robbie Smokowski joins us in a bit. The Bucs winning Game 1 last night, largely because of the production of their outfield. This month, Rock, the Pirates outfielders have really been some of the most productive in all of baseball.
Yeah, I don't think we've said it enough about our outfield, and it's the best in all of Major League Baseball. I don't think there's any question that these three are better than any other outfielders of the other 29 teams. Marte has been on fire, hitting the ball out of the ballpark, 9-game hitting streak. Andrew McCutchen's just doing what Andrew McCutchen does. It's just a productive year, on pace for a career high RBIs-wise. And Polanco is just tattooing the ball, hitting the ball as hard as anybody in all the game. By far, that group, the best in all of baseball.
In this month, very good. These guys would be all-stars in August. You see they've each played 21 games, all hitting right around 300 or better. And the RBIs are there, plus the extra base hits.
Pretty impressive stuff. You know, you look at the average, you look at the RBI, the extra base hits from these guys. And plus their defense, you got to give them a tip of the cap of that as well.
Well, the Marlins starter, Brad Hand, might need a hand from his teammates tonight against those three and some of the others in the Pirates lineup. He did pick up a win his last time out Thursday against the Phillies.
Yeah, this guy kind of bounced back and forth between the rotation and the bullpen, and I think settling in against those Phillies, just the one earned run in 6 innings. Not real good his last 5 starts, 5.32 the ERA, 3-2 overall in his 7 starts. A lot of fastballs from this guy. Hopefully the Bucs will get on him.
Well, hook, line, and sinker tonight from Miami. It's time to set the hook once again and reel in another big fish. Game 2 of a 4-game set. The Marlins and the Pirates lineups and first pitch coming up. With the Marlins, Pirates are 16-5 over the last 21 games against Miami. Charlie looking for that 17th win as he will get the start tonight. He's been very good, Rock, his last couple of times out. Last time combining on a shutout against the Giants.
Yeah, his last 2 starts, I think he's pitched as well as we've seen. And, we've always talked about ground chuck. Now it's Uncle Charlie. This big hook of his has been just a dangerous weapon. The strikeouts going way up, 17 in those last 2 starts. Morton has been outstanding.
Charlie Morton and Brad Hand. That's the pitching matchup as we get set for game number 2 here in Miami. Gregory Polanco and Denny Echeverria saying hello before this one gets underway. Let's send you back to Pittsburgh right now. Rob King is standing by with this game break. It's a new dance tonight. I think last night Kutch was doing the row, row, row your boat or something like that, and now tonight, no idea.
That's good fun.
They like it. They like it. Must be working. Let's take a look at the lineup brought to you by Toyota. Gregory Polanco leads off, and boy, he likes Marlins Park. .591 average with a home run. That was last year. 5 runs batted in. And Marte, McCutchen, Ramirez in the cleanup spot. Cervelli batting 5th. Michael Morse, the right-handed hitter, playing first base. Josh Harrison and Jordy Mercer, 7-8 in the order, with Charlie Morton batting 9th.
And the youngster, the lefty, Brad Hand, 32nd appearance, 8th start of the year, 3-3, a .446 earned run average.
Not a whole lot of strikeouts, 46 and 68 2/3. 4-pitch guy. He'll throw a fastball, though about 70% of the time he likes to go to the fastball. Also will mix in a curveball, slider, changeup.
Ready to get going. His hand will face Polanco. Gregory, a season high 4 hits last night, went 4 for 5. 2 singles, 2 doubles. Just underway. And ball 1 low. 267. He starts the night with that average. 7 homers, 39 runs batted in. He has been flourishing from the leadoff spot. Swings and misses. We've also noticed, Rock, in the last month or so, maybe this correlates to his average and the production that he has provided, that he has been aggressive early in counts where, last year he took a number of pitches, adjusted, and now seems to be in pretty good shape in terms of getting on base due to that aggressive attack.
Obviously, he's so much more confident and up there ready to go from pitch 1. I mean, sometimes that first pitch might be the best pitch you see the entire at bat, and I think he's just so comfortable and locked in right now that anything he sees that he feels that he can drive, he's attacking.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Gregory. He swings and strikes out. Polanco out on strikes, 1 gone to start the ball game. The defense behind hand for Miami. It's brought to you by Honda. Christian Yelich back tonight, activated off the disabled list after recuperating from a knee injury. Ozuna and Suzuki also in the outfield with him. Prado, Echeverria, Gordon, and Bauer on the infield with Real Muto doing the catching. There's Dan Jennings, general manager turned manager. Marte hits it to the first baseman, Justin Bour. 2 men out. Bour in there tonight. Casey McGee had first base last night. And here is Andrew McCutchen. 2 outs, nobody on.
McCutchen. See if he can do something here with 2 outs against Hand, who a little funky with his delivery. Kind of jumps at the hitter a little bit. Pitching from the stretch as well.
Yeah, that is a little odd, but he has been a reliever for a lot of the year. 31 appearances coming into tonight. This is just his 8th start, so a number of relievers will pitch exclusively out of the stretch. But you don't normally see a starter doing this.
Nope, very rare. It's just a comfort level.
Hand pitched against the Pirates on the 27th of May. 5 shutout innings in that game. Got a no decision.
Got away with one there. 89 up out over the plate. Now we'll get the fastball up a little harder than that. He averages over 92 miles per hour on the year, but that may have been coming out of the pen where he's done majority of his work.
Two-1 to Kutch. This one's well struck to the gap. Very deep. That'll bounce off the track and off the wall. And McCutchen pulling it to second base with a 2-out double.
Well, he might get away with 1 fastball down the middle against Andrew McCutchen, but you go in there back to back over the heart, he will make you pay. That ball, a rocket shot in the left center field, gets it up in the air. It's a homer. Look at that middle. Anytime you get the ball up around the belt to Andrew, he's likely to hit it out of the park as much as anything. This one just didn't get under it enough.
Double number 31 in career game 1001. Ramos Ramirez. Not start last night. In there tonight. Ramirez has a home not too far from here, as a matter of fact, right about a half hour from the ballpark. Pitch to Ramirez from Brad Hand. Takes up high and away, ball one. Ramirez out there at third. A lot of options now for Clint Hurdle. Now that both Josh Harrison and Jordy Mercer are back off the disabled list. Two balls and no strikes.
Ramey so good in these situations throughout his career. Loves driving in runs, and in a good count here, 2-0. See if he gets a good fastball to hit.
Hand set to go, the 2-0, and Ramirez to right field. Ichiro's counted. He comes up throwing. McCutchen around third to the plate. He's safe, and down to second base goes Ramirez with an RBI hit. It's 1-0. Pirates on top in the first.
And the experience of Aramis Ramirez. You know, a lot of guys will go up there and they'll look for something to pull on a 2-0 count, and they'll get out in front and maybe roll this pitch over. But Aramis looks for it outer half, gets it outer half, and just stays inside it and goes the other way with it. I mean, that's just great execution. That's a pitch a lot of lefties down in the zone. They'll get a rollover ground ball to the left side to a right-handed batter. Aramis just stays inside. Hit hard enough, you had to wonder. Ichiro getting up there in age, but still has a pretty good throwing arm. And a pretty decent throw, but too much speed from Kutch.
A runner at second now for Cervelli. Ball one to Francisco. McCutchen coming in to score after his 31st double. For Ramirez, his 59th run batted in. Cervelli, ground ball to D. Gordon. The Buccos on the board. 2 hits, 1 left. After a half inning in Miami, it's a 1-0 Pirate lead. D. Gordon will lead off. Ichiro Suzuki batting second. Prado and Justin Bohr, Marcelo Ozuna, Christian Yelich back in the lineup tonight against Charlie Morton. He's 5 for 13. JT Realmuto behind the plate. Adenny Echeverria and Brad Hand, the pitcher, batting ninth.
And the Pirates pitcher will face D. Gordon leading off the game, and NL's leading hitter. That's Charlie Morton. And Morton has been outstanding. That curveball of his has been pretty much unhittable. And for Charlie, it's always about working fast, throwing strikes. finishing him with that curveball, getting his ground balls for his 9th win here tonight.
Charlie made his season debut against the Marlins this year. He started late, came off the disabled list. And on the 25th of May, debuted against the Marlins, won that ball game. 1-0 pitch. Gordon takes a strike on the inside corner. Gordon went 0 for 4 in the series opener last night. 1-1 pitch. Uncle Charlie.
There it is. That's a big old breaker.
We're going to see a number of those tonight. And Charlie's 1-2. Trying to go inside again with a fastball, evening the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. E. Gordon can fly. Gets on base, he can cause trouble. And he goes down on strikes. Foul tip into the mitt of Francisco Cervelli. Striking out on another curveball. Tips to win from Rivers Casino.
Command the curveball for Charlie Morton. It's been such a great pitch for him, as we've mentioned. 2/3 of his strikeouts, over 2/3 of his strikeouts now have come on that curveball. He gets the swing and miss almost half the times he throws it. They're hitting just 100 against him. And for Starling Marte, picking him to have a big night tonight, looking to extend his hitting streak. He's currently at 9 straight. He's McCutchen and Ramirez in the first, but I see a Marte party coming on.
And what we're seeing right now, Rock, is a pretty big milestone. It might not look like much, but Ichiro Suzuki has come to the plate for the 10,000th time as a major leaguer. This is his 10,000th career plate appearance.
It's amazing.
And that's not counting his plate appearances while he was in Japan. I know a lot of his milestones, overall hits and things like that, a lot of folks count him from his time in Japan as well, but this is just in Major League Baseball. 10,000 plate appearances. Line drive right to Polanco, route number 2. Ichiro extremely accomplished between Seattle, the Yankees, and Miami. 2,323 games. He's closing in on 3,000 hits. And how about that batting average over the length of time? .315.
Yep, pretty amazing. The extra base hits, he has some pop, he has the wheels, almost 500 career stolen bases, and still hits the ball hard. 41 years old.
Second fastest ever to get to 10,000 plate appearances. Pete Rose the first. Martin Prado, third baseman, takes a ball in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 down, bases empty for the Marlins. Pirates up 1-0, bottom of the first. Morton's got his sign and the 1-1. Inside. Last couple of outings for Charlie. He's done a nice job in the strikeout department. Against the Giants on the 20th, 8 strikeouts. Against the Mets, 9 strikeouts. There's a bouncer to the middle. And Jordy Mercer throws out Prado. Nice tidy 1-2-3, bottom of the first. 1-0 Pirates heading to the second.
Toyota. Toyota helps you get the most out of your drive. Just ask a friend who drives one. Toyota, let's go places. And by Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better. Let's go Bucks.
Top of the second inning on the UPMC scoreboard. Pirates a 1-0 lead. Up 1-0 in this series due to Jay Happ's performance last night. Another outstanding outing for the left-handers. 6 innings, 6 strikeouts, no runs. He scattered 4 hits. Jay looks like he's got some things figured out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that ball's jumping out of his hand. Made it look easy.
Michael Morris, the former Marlin, Miami native. .225 the average for the Pirates first baseman tonight. 0-1 pitch inside.
He had a ball BP this afternoon that I didn't think a ball could go that far. He almost put it in the seats in straightaway center field, just in front of the front row of seats, almost 500 feet away.
And he can mash. You know, it's hard to believe that he came up with the Mariners and in the big leagues played shortstop at his size. That's what his lifelong dream was to play shortstop in the major leagues. And he idolized Alex Rodriguez growing up, as many young baseball players growing up in the Miami area do and did. And he, along with a friend, in a restaurant one time just after he was drafted by the White Sox, saw Alex Rodriguez eating by himself, went up and introduced himself. A-Rod picked up his bill, first of all, and then secondly sat there and talked to him for quite a while about what to expect as he was heading into professional baseball.
It didn't take A-Rod very long either. Big leagues at 19. Catch out there by that fan.
3-2 to Michael Morse. Morse began the year with the Marlins, was property of the Dodgers for 2 days. He was involved in the deal that sent Matt Latos to Los Angeles. But the Dodgers ended up spinning him off to the Pirates for Jose Tabata. 3-2 again from Brad Hand. This one's pretty well hit to right field, but right there to play it is Ichiro. One down for the Pirates in the second.
That ball was hit right on the button. Ichiro playing deep out there with Morse up.
And making his 3rd career start against the Pirates, he'll now face Josh Harrison. Josh batting in the 7th spot, trying to get something going since coming off the disabled list.
Won't take Josh long to make an impact. You almost always expect him to do something spectacular in any game he plays.
In the air to left center. Yelich calling for it. 2 men out. Harrison 0 for 1. Yelich, first day back off the disabled list, had a knee issue. Marlins been waiting for him to come back. Today was the first day he was eligible to come off. A right knee contusion. And in order to get Yelich back on the active roster, the team placed right-handed pitcher Kendry Flores on the 50-day DL with right shoulder tendonitis. 1-0 to Jordy Mercer. Ball, 1 strike. Hernandez, pitching coach for the Marlins, looking on as he watches his lefty go to work. 2 balls and a strike. and born in Minneapolis. 25 years old. Second round pick by the Marlins in 2008. 3-1 on Mercer.
He had to be pretty good in high school. I think coming out of Minnesota, their high school season, I'm guessing, I'm not sure, but I would think that they'd have to kind of push their high school season back to the summer.
I think. Jordy hits this one to left field. Yelich on the run, makes the catch. 3 fly balls. And the Pirates go down in order in the top of the second inning. Lots of Bucco fans here in Miami.
Root Sports, and our guest is Aramis Ramirez, and he took a question from Samuel Kramer, who asked Aram, what is the proudest moment of your career?
I hit the grand slam in the 2003 postseason with the Cubs, because that game, we won that game, and that put us in a good spot to make the World Series. We were winning the series 3-1. We didn't make it, but that was probably the highlight of my career.
And certainly a very popular series that was between the Marlins and Chicago Cubs for reasons other than Aram's Grand Slam. That was the Steve Bartman series, which is part of the reason that the Cubs did not end up winning. But, yeah, great moment for Aramis Ramirez, Tim.
He's had a bunch of them.
I'd say.
It's amazing he could just pick one right on the spot like that, because he's had a lot of them. Justin Bour, the first baseman. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Who knows? Ramy, probably a bit of a shock that he gets traded back to the organization he started with, and who knows, maybe gets that ring. Pirates right now playing better, or as good as any other team in all of baseball, and I think has as good a chance as anybody to win the World Series.
Bour goes down on strikes. Second strikeout for Charlie. Let's go back in the Wayback Machine here. 2003 Grand Slam, the first in Cubs postseason history. NLCS Game 4. That was a pretty good Cubs team.
Yeah, and that's about as much emotion as you'll ever see Ramirez show on the field.
Marcell Ozuna lifts this to right field. Going back to the track is Polanco. 2 down. Good jump by Gregory to get to that baseball.
It's 3 bullets hit out the right already in this ball game. Ichiro, Ozuna, Michael Morse, and that sinker kind of straightened out and stayed right down the middle. We got a man there.
Here's Yelich at the plate now, the left fielder. 275 average for him on this season. 6 homers and 29 runs batted in. 1 ball and 1 strike to Yelich.
Morton breaking out the changeup.
One inside. Missed the back foot, fortunately.
Yeah, Morton can throw a back foot curveball. It's hit 9 so far this year. A lot of them coming off that curveball.
Yeah, chances are when Charlie takes the hill, he's going to hit somebody. And it's not intentional. It's not anything like that. It's the curveball that bends in on that back foot of the left-handed hitter. And he strikes out Yelich. 6 up and 6 down. Half of them Charlie's punched out. 2 innings in the books. This afternoon through 35 pitches and trying to simulate 2 innings worth of work, facing live hitters. Said everything went fine. And next up for AJ, they expect to have him throw another simulated game back in Pittsburgh, perhaps on Sunday, which will be 5 days rest, and then they'll give him more work, perhaps 3 innings on Sunday. But Clint Hurdle said he's still a ways away, still has some work to be done. But all indications are positive and everything looks good.
Yeah, they look pretty free and easy. It doesn't look like it was 100%, but looked pretty fluid.
1 ball, 1 strike to Charlie Morton. AJ continues his return to pitch program. Morton hits this one down the right field side. Ichiro to the wall, but it's foul. One and 2 to Morton. Charlie just 1 hit on the year so far. Would have had 1 more, but Curtis Granderson robbed him in New York.
Yeah, made a great play. That ball was crushed too.
2-2 pitch. And fouled into the glove of Real Muto for strike 3, 1 down. And has now retired 5 straight since the RBI base hit of Ramirez in the first.
It's a fastball by Morton. His fastball doesn't get swung and missed at very often. Just 14% of the time does major league hitters swing through his heater.
Polanco gets his next chance. He struck out first time up.
And got him with the slider.
Ball 1-2 Polanco. Gregory's got such a big wingspan, and you'd figure that he'd have a long swing as a result, but I know you've noticed he's actually shortened it up, and as a result he's become more successful.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it. You know, there was some length. He is a big man, long arms, and obviously working very hard, and has worked very hard with Jeff Branson, the hitting coach. Shorten things up, get himself into a better place. Jeff Branson along with Jeff Livesey got themselves a pretty good lineup right now. You know, there has been some inconsistencies, especially the first half of the year, but you can argue right now this team, outside of maybe the Mets, who are very hot, and the Toronto Blue Jays, I mean, you can argue that this lineup is just as dangerous. Polanco's been swinging it. Alvarez has been swinging the bat very well. McCutchen, as always. Marte with his 9-game streak. Cervelli, you see in the background, flirting with the top 10 in the National League in batting average.
One, two. Whoa, watch out. Might have hit a fish.
I don't think he saw that one. A little bit of a late reaction from Gregory Polanco. You see how he reacts after this ball goes by him. He kind of spun out of the way late, reaching up there by his helmet.
Checking with home plate umpire Brian O'Nora and the number of strikes and the count, what it is. It's 2-2. Goes the other way. This ball is slicing away, but Yelich with room. He makes the catch for the out. Polanco's 0 for 2. The Bucs take on the Colorado Rockies Friday at 7:05. The first 20,000 fans get a free Pirates t-shirt. Compliments of Trip Total Media. Enjoy food, live entertainment, and the Line and Kugel Bar before the game at the Friday night block party on Federal Street, presented by Barrel Automotive. For tickets, go to pirates.com/Free Shirt Friday. Don't forget, fans can drop off new and gently used baseball and softball equipment at any of the main gates at PNC Park. Donations go directly to local RBI teams. So bring your new and gently used stuff. It'll help the Reviving Baseball in the Inner Cities program. It's a great program, and sometimes some of the participating children can't afford a new glove or new cleats or new bat. And these types of programs really help them out, so that they too can have the opportunity to play baseball. 1-1 to Marte. As John mentioned, a 9-game hitting streak.
Get on there for Kutch.
For the air to center field. Marcell Ozuna under it. He grabs it. 3 up and 3 down in the top of the 3rd inning.
Brought to you by Allegheny Health Network. Health for all. By Kenny Ross. Just ask a neighbor. And by Levin's, the official furniture and mattress supplier of the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Pirates with a 1-0 lead. Marlins half of the third. JT Realmuto, the catcher, takes strike one from Charlie Morton. Realmuto, 242 hitter. Didn't have any hits last night, but did drive in a run. Drove in 2 runs last night. One fielder's choice in his last at bat. It was a play that had to be reviewed, and the call was originally a double play, then overturned, and he ended up getting a second RBI.
I would think most hitters would take that. Go 0 for with 2 RBIs. I would rather go 0 for with 2 RBIs than go 3 for 3 with no RBIs.
Well, you're driving in runs.
Yeah, it doesn't. Now RBIs sometimes are hard to come by.
Jeff Kellogg, the crew chief, he's out at third base tonight. Realmuto pops this one up first base side. Michael Morris will grab it. Realmuto is out. One gone for the Marlins in the bottom of the third inning. You know, then, John, right after that play last night in the 9th inning, it was a double play that Echeverria hit into, and because Marlins still had a challenge, Dan Jennings came out and challenged a play that really was not even close and just delayed the ending of the game. I asked Clint Hurdle about it. I said, was that a crew chief challenge or did the manager challenge? He said, no, that was the manager's challenge. He had one left. But still, I think that play left us scratching our heads because that was the game-ending play, and it wasn't even close at first.
Well, you know, to me, I mean, it was fairly close, and so I looked in the Marlins dugout to see if he would come out, Dan Jennings, and he never came out of the dugout. That's why I assumed it was an umpire's challenge, unless he signaled from, you know, inside the dugout, because he immediately went down into the dugout after that play.
Two and two to Echeverria. Two balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. Curveball that's bounced foul past third. We mentioned the strikeouts in the last 2 performances for Charlie. 9 against the Giants, 8 against the Mets. Do you realize that's the first time in his career he's had back-to-back outings of 8 strikeouts or more?
I mean, he's always relied on the ground ball. He just would go up there and pound the zone.
And that is a fair ball. First hit off of Morton. Echeverria into second base. He is turning and heading for third. Here comes the throw, and he is out. Starling Marte guns him down from the left field corner. A double for Echeverria, and out, trying to extend it to a triple.
Yeah, just not a smart baseball play. You know you're hitting 8th. The pitcher's behind you. There is 1 out, and so that's when you want to maybe try to stretch a double into a triple with 1 out. But the ball's right in front of you. Good swing into hanging curveball. Even when Morton's curveball hangs, it's tough to hit. It has so much break to it. But I think Echeverria just saw how nonchalant Marte was out here, so he figured, hey, why not give it a shot? But Marte, not very far from third base. That's an easy throw for him.
And now Brad Hand swings and fouls it away. 2 down. Yeah, I mean, he didn't have to put much on it either, for Marte.
Just over the bag, and Marte takes his time. He knows it's just a double. No chance of getting into third. So he was still, you see, like, that cannon of an arm of Marte, he just kind of tossed it in and still had time.
Like long toss, just playing catch. 0-2, a bouncer to short. Good hop for Mercer. 3 more batters for Charlie Morton. He does give up a hit, but that was it. We'll go to the 4th. It's a 1-0 ball game. Starling Marte. Now this day in Pirates history from Day Automotive, 2009, Andrew McCutchen, who had been in the big leagues for just a few weeks, hit his first career walk-off home run down 4-3 in the 9th. Brian Bixler scored on a Jason Worth error to tie the game. Kutch stepped to the plate, hit a 2-run walk-off homer off of Phillies closer Brad Lidge. The Pirates said lights out to the Phillies and beat them 6-4. McCutchen with a double and a run scored in the ball game. He'll come up and lead off in the 4th.
That's when you realized, hey, he just doesn't have pull power. He has power to all fields, and you know, we've seen it many, many times. Doesn't matter if he hits it to center, left, or right.
Well, I said when Marte made the throw that he gunned down Echeverria. I think he really lobbed him down. Yeah, he lobbed the throw in there and still had time to get Echeverria, who for some reason was trying to stretch that to a triple.
And everybody in the dugout in between innings came in and congratulated Marte. Hey, way to be nonchalant. Way to trick him into going to third. Yeah, I mean, and somebody must have yelled at Jordy. That would have been his only chance of making it, is if Jordy cuts that ball. But somebody real late, I think, told Jordy to let it go. One of the easier assists Starling Marte will ever have.
Catch up against Brad Hand for the second time. Pirates are going to see a couple of more lefties in this series. Chris Narveson tomorrow, Thursday, Justin Nicolino. So they'll see 3 straight lefties out of the 4 games. 1-0. And I think that means we'll see some variations in the lineup. Probably see Michael Morse at first base, a right-handed hitter for the duration of this series, you'd have to imagine.
Pedro's all of a sudden hitting over 300 against lefties. Who knows? He may get a start.
Just hit a home run off the lefty in the Giants series. Oh, and McCutchen is hit.
He couldn't get that foot out of the way. His body went backwards, but his foot stayed planted. Right off the left foot. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, he has plastic spikes. I was wondering if maybe the spikes had stuck in the clay, that those plastic cleats don't dig in.
Pirates have been hit more than anybody in baseball. 75 times now the Pirates have had a man hit by a pitch. That looks okay. He'll make his way down to first base.
Yeah, he moved every part of his body out of the way except his left foot. He's like, oh. Couldn't get it out of the way.
He's got a shin guard there. He's got the guard that covers the top of the foot, but of course it hits the part that's uncovered. Yeah. You can't wear a suit of armor up there.
Well, he got his back foot out of the way. Yeah. The left foot. Ow. Ouch.
Let's see if he steals second now. Aramis Ramirez, 1 for 1 with an RBI. Since being acquired, or reacquired, I guess, the Pirates are 9-3 in games when Ramirez drives in a run. Had a base hit, went down to second on the throw by the outfielder Ichiro. One strike.
Almost got Ramey's foot. Hearing Pirate fans booing.
McCutchen was saying, "Oh no, not again." I wonder what hurt worse, getting hit on the foot or when he bit into a protein bar and lost a veneer in his front tooth a couple of days ago. First, Kutch gets back.
Almost threw that ball in the right field, which would allow McCutchen probably get all the way to third if that gets by Bohr.
And McCutchen hurts his tooth the other day, then goes and hits a home run, and then afterward tweets out that he hit a buck-tooth homer. Down the right field side, that'll be a foul ball. Well, that looks like a good corner for foul balls tonight.
Yeah, we saw the gentleman with the striped shirt make a catch. He almost, another striped shirt, by the way. The other gentleman had a crack at a second foul ball. That's 3 right there in that same section already.
Here comes the 1-2 to Ramirez. McCutchen breaks for second base, and Ramirez pops it up. Foul ground, and Justin Bohr won't get to it. Back to first goes McCutchen, and Ramirez still in the count. This is a long run for the Marlins first baseman.
Ichiro just figured, I got no chance. He shut her down after a couple steps. McCutchen trying to swipe a base. 5 for 6 so far this year. Would-be base stealers against Brad Hand.
And delivering 1-2 to first base. Throw a little bit high, but Bohr big enough to get to it.
Fairly quick to home plate, but not a very good move to first. And anybody that steals, they like to see that move.
Watch out. Ramirez pulled it, scrambled the far end of the Marlins dugout. Got to be careful down there. We talk about it every so often. Imagine the days when there were no screens in front of the dugouts. How often screamers were ripped into major league dugouts.
Keep your eyes open. There has been so much talk of that, with the line drives and fans getting hit by balls, bats, whether or not there should be more protection. One thing you need to do as a fan, you cannot take your eye off the pitch. And the ball gets there in a hurry. Same thing in the dugouts. But yep, those screens make it much safer in the dugouts.
1-2 to Ramirez from Brad Hand. Two and two. Talking to Ramirez earlier today, he said he prefers this ballpark as opposed to the other ballpark, but he said the thing he doesn't like about this one is it's too big. Spoken like a true hitter. He said this one's just too big.
Way big.
He said, you know, the other one you had rain delays and all kinds of weather. He said it's nice indoors, but it's too big. Hot shot down to short. That's Faria to Gordon for one. Back to Bohr. That's a double play. 6-4-3. 2 men out, nobody on. And that is our Chick-fil-A double play. Really hard hit ball. Stayed true for Echeverria.
Yeah, showing good hands, being able to come up with that smash. That pitch was pretty similar to the pitch that Ramirez drove into right field to drive in the only run of this game. And this time he just got out in front of it. An easy turn for D. Gordon.
Cervelli's pitch. It's in there for a strike. First pitch to Francisco. He's 0 for 1. He grounded out to D. Gordon in the first. Base hit. Cervelli 1 for 2. 2-out single. Seemed like that was one where he just kind of slowed the bat head down and took it through the zone and just made contact.
Don't have to overswing. Yeah, you know, you just see the ball and you just be free and easy. Use the hands. Typically, when you try to do too much or overswing, that's when the swing gets long.
2 outs, runner aboard for Michael Morse. Morse flying to Ichiro in right field in the second inning. Morse happy to be with the Pirates. Very appreciative of that fact. He has a chance to go back to the postseason. There goes Cervelli, and Morse fouls it off.
Boy, I think Francisco thought he had that one too. Pretty big jump. Went on first move. Figured that Brad Hand wasn't worried about him going anywhere, so there you see it. He got a good 4 steps before Hand let that ball go.
Now Hand will check him over at first base. Cervelli with 1 stolen base on the season. He's been thrown out once too, so he's had 2 attempts. Morse a strike taken at the knees, a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 1-2.
Morse has the golfer's grip on the bat. Don't see that very often. I know Travis Ishikawa we've seen do it earlier this year. Michael Morse as well. I mean, it's the first time I've seen that this year. That interlocked, not quite interlocked, but that pinky of the right hand overlapping the index finger of the left hand.
Speaking of golf, how far do you think he could hit a golf ball?
I can't imagine. It's like I said, he hit a ball about 400 or 500 feet today in BP straight away. Above the batter's eye it landed. Figure 418 to center. And you got the back, that black batter's eye, and then one of those billboards above it.
Caught the outside corner and struck him out. So Hand strikes out Morse to end the 4th. Cervelli left on base. the Pirates wherever you are with MLB.com. At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet. D. Gordon to lead off the Marlins half of the 4th inning. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Marlins second baseman takes high and away, ball 1. So it'll be Gordon and then Ichiro and Prado. Two 2-0 to Gordon. Strike call, 2-1. The last 16 starts for Morton, which are all of them. The Pirates are 12-4. They have, as a team, won the vast majority of Charlie's starts this year. Full count to Gordon.
A little up in the zone is Charlie Morton this first at bat of the 4th inning. Let's keep that sinker down.
3-2, ground ball to the right side. Diving stop by Harrison. It gets away from him. And Gordon is aboard. Harrison got there, just couldn't corral it.
That would still have been a tough play. Gordon, perhaps the fastest man in baseball, even if Harrison gloves this. He would have been very quick getting up and firing at the Morse. Good effort, though.
But right now, just a matter of moments before he breaks for second base. 41 stolen bases. Suzuki bunts foul. Well, in this case, you got to wonder if you're the Marlins, if you wouldn't want to try to let Gordon get there by himself and then let Ichiro drive him in.
Yeah, I mean, Gordon will go. It won't take long. Ichiro just thinking about getting the base hit.
Point Park University tweet from Trey Bookhammer says, does Ichiro have a spot in the Hall of Fame?
First ballot for me.
I think there's no doubt. It's not the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. It's the Baseball Hall of Fame. When you
even
combine what he did in Japan and here, it's amazing.
You can throw away Japan stats. He's still a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He's closing in on 3,000 hits here.
3,000 hits gets you in. 315 career batting average gets you in. First 10 seasons in the major leagues, over 200 hits. He's had as many as 262 in a season. Charlie Morton missing with that curveball there. First time out of the stretch for Morton. One pitcher hand who has yet to throw a pitch, or won't throw a pitch out of the windup. Morton went through the lineup the first time out of the windup.
Ichiro fouls it back.
Morton getting the ball pretty quickly to Cervelli. D. Gordon wanted to go. Started, didn't get a good enough jump, put on the brakes.
Brian O'Nora was struck with that foul ball, so Cervelli, professional courtesy, goes out and talks to his pitcher, gives the home plate umpire just a moment or two to gather himself up. See, that works the other way too. Sometimes the umpire will come out and clean off home plate when it doesn't need to be on occasion when a catcher takes one. .73% of the time he is safe when he attempts to steal a base.
unusual swing. Looks like he got a piece of his leg that time out in front of the breaking ball. Certainly looks a little unusual the way he hits, but it's off of that front foot.
Runner goes, pitches low and in, throw down, and a stolen base for D. Gordon. 42nd of the season.
It's actually a pretty strong throw from Cervelli. Pretty strong and accurate. Tough pitch to handle. As D. Gordon. See the good speed, almost went by the bag.
Well, nobody out of the tying run in scoring position. Gordon at second base with Suzuki at the plate and a 3-2 count on it. To left field, down the line, slicing. Marte is there in foul territory to make the catch. And the way that Ichiro swings, that ball had some extra slice on it.
Marte chase him down as well as anybody. Ichiro just slaps it. Marte, you saw that quick peek in, make sure that he was not nearing that wall, had plenty of room.
Martin Prado 0 for 1. He grounded out to Mercer at short to end the first inning. Off throw to second base. Gordon back. In the air right. Gregory will get under it. Polanco with a catch. Gordon will head to third base with 2 outs. Two men out. Prado moves Gordon over a station but can't get him in. And we want to see your strongest fan photo. Use the hashtag #PittDataStrongFan and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Send them in, show them to you later. A lot of fans who can come up with some strong fan photos here in Florida. First baseman Justin Bour. Tying run is at third base, 2 down. Bour went down looking in the second inning. One curveball from Charlie.
When we've seen Charlie Morton at his best in prior years, it was, work fast, throw the sinker. 90% of the time and get ground balls. I mean, he's become such a different pitcher. He's able to, locate the sinker more. He doesn't pitch or throw the sinker to get contact like he used to. Just kind of try to work the edges with it. He still gets his fair share of grounders, but he's a guy that seeks outs from the curveball.
Bouncer wide of first base. Strike 2 to Bour. Charlie now a strike away from getting out of the inning. Souvenir. Nice hat.
That's interesting. Never saw one like that before. I like it.
2-2 to Bour. Full count.
Pirate logo is a little too close to Philly, though.
It's covering Philly. Did you notice?
Yeah. They're near Allentown.
Stargell Star, where Pittsburgh is. 3-2 pitch. And Bour rips it down the line. That's fair. Gordon will score to tie it. And Bour rumbling to second base. Polanco throws it out of the right field corner. It's a 1-1 ball game and a 2-out, 2-strike double from Justin Bour.
Yeah, maybe went to the well once too often with the breaking ball. see, not a horrible location, a little bit up above the knee, but Board does a nice job of smothering it, getting out and around it. Lumbering. It's amazing how many times you see a runner, go to second on a double or extra base hit and hit the bag without looking at it. So often they're out there looking at the ball, and somehow, nobody twists their ankle or sprains an ankle. They always hit the bag and just continue to motor around without looking at it.
Go ahead run at second. 1-0 pitch to the center fielder, Marcell Ozuna. One ball, one strike. We're looking at games to keep track of later. Cardinals are out in Arizona for game 2 of that series. The Cubs open up a series in San Francisco. Cubs won on a walk-off yesterday afternoon in a makeup game with Cleveland at Wrigley Field. And the Cardinals won 5-3 over the Diamondbacks last night. And the Cardinals get more runs, John, in like no out first and third situations. They trade double plays and the guy from third scores. They get tons of those runs. Got another one last night.
They figure out how to score one more than the other team. It's one way or the other. You can't take anything away from the way they're playing baseball. Obviously they have the best pitching staff statistically in all of baseball, and they figure out a way with all the injuries and everything else they have. You got to respect what they've been able to do. Their next win will be number 80.
3-1. 3-2.
Change up from Charlie. I'm sure Ozuna had to be fooled by that. Charlie Morton has gotten away from the split change, goes with a circle change nowadays.
Payoff pitch to Ozuna. A bouncer toward the middle. Harrison. Long throw by Josh. Right on target to get it. For the Marlins, 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left. It's on to the 5th. It's now 1-1. Charlie Morton scoring D. Gordon, tying the game at 1. 3 hits apiece, rather. Top of the 5th inning, and Brad Hand has given up just 3 hits tonight. Representing the 4-1-2. We haven't seen the 724 shirt yet, have you?
No.
No? Still looking for that.
Yeah.
Oh, Bob's been waiting to see the 724 shirt. For weeks and weeks and weeks. Josh Harrison leads off for the Pirates against Hand. Takes a strike. Josh 0 for 1. Fly to left in the second. And Hand pitched 5 shutout innings against the Pirates on the 27th of May at PNC Park. In the air to right. Ichiro back. 1 out. Josh is 0 for 2.
A couple of good at bats though, Josh. Just missing a couple. Ball pretty well to left. And that ball hit pretty well to right. Getting closer.
Well, coming off the disabled list, takes a little while when you see live pitching to get everything together, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously he had some rehab games, and you got some at bats, and I think the more at bats you get, the better you're going to feel. Sometimes for some guys, you click and get it going right away. I think Josh is close, but not playing every day it's always more difficult when you're not in there every day. I don't care who you are. It's not easy.
Ursa to right field, a base hit. Jordy's 1 for 2. Asked Jordy how he felt the other day coming back from Indianapolis in terms of the swing. He said he felt really good.
Yeah, he felt pretty good there too. Fastball right down the middle, hands back, foot down early, short and quick inside the ball, head down. Picture perfect.
Charlie Morton will try to get him to second base. Hands only play to first. Gordon with the put out at first base. Charlie with a sacrifice, his 5th sacrifice bunt of the season, and now the go-ahead run in scoring position with 2 men out and Gregory Polanco coming up. Well, coming up on Saturday, the Pirates will take on the Rockies. 7:05 start time at PNC Park. The first 20,000 fans will get a Bill Mazeroski replica statue. And don't forget the Saturday night block party, and everybody's a winner on an Eaton Park Scratch and Win Saturday. For tickets, go to pirates.com. Should be a big weekend. Rockies and Pirates starting Friday night. Rockies the only National League team the Pirates have not played yet this year. They have 7 games remaining with them. 3 in Pittsburgh, 4 in Denver. Polanco takes low. Run on 4 hits for the Pirates, 1 run on 3 hits for Dan Jennings' Marlins. One 0 pitch. Ground ball left side. Prado will throw out Polanco, and that'll do it for the Pirates. No runs and hit a man left. Heading to the bottom of the 5th inning at Marlins Park. It's a 1-1 game.
here at Marlins Park. Robbie and Smikowski here on Twitter Tuesday. Craig Gregory asks Aramis Ramirez, tonight's guest, what are your plans for retirement?
Do everything I haven't done the last 21, 22 years that I've been playing professional baseball. You know, just probably travel with my family, stay home, spend a summer in my home. I haven't done that for the last 21 years. Just do stuff that I haven't done for a long, long time.
And Aramis Ramirez, of course, has announced this will be his final season. Part of his enjoyment here of coming to the Pirates and the chance to win a World Series. He's got 3 kids, got a place on Dominican, and a place right here in Miami, Tim and John.
Yep. There's a place, he said, about 20 minutes from the hotel where we stay. Not too far. Does enjoy the Florida weather, but also the Dominican as well. Yelich takes outside. When players retire, I know you and I have had this conversation, and other players go through the same thing. You know, you've been doing something at the highest level for 21 years. In Aramis Ramirez's case, Yelich lines one to center field. It's a base hit, a leadoff single for Christian Yelich. He's 1 for 2. But how do you replace the competition in your life? Because that's a big part of your life when you're a Major League Baseball player.
You don't. You just. Yeah, it's gone, and that's probably the toughest thing about it. You know, he's pretty certain that it's time to go and time to spend time with the kids. I mean, he's got some young kids, and so looking forward to that chapter of his life. But yeah, you'll miss it, and it takes a little while to get over it. But yeah, you can't replace it. You know, maybe play ping pong.
That's a different kind of training.
Beanbag toss.
But what's it going to be like for a guy like that, you know, after Thanksgiving, say, when you start picking up a bat again and throwing the baseball around again, and he doesn't have to do that anymore?
Yeah, it's going to be weird for him. Spring training next year, it'll probably hit him harder than any other time. You know, he may second guess himself a little bit. Obviously, still able to perform at this level. And numbers aren't quite what he's used to, and I'm sure he'd like to hit the ball in the park a little bit more and have the average up there a little higher.
There he goes, and Real Muto fouls it down the third base line. 2 strikes to JT Real Muto.
Probably looks to me like a hit and run more than a straight steal, looking in the whole time.
1 strike, not 2. Beg your pardon. Oh, and 1 to Real Muto. And a ground ball up the middle, a base hit. Yelich returns second and hit for third, and McCutchen makes an error. Here comes Yelich, and the relay throw not handled by Harrison. It's 2-1 Miami. Boy, that ball right on the ground from McCutchen. A play he's made 1,000 times. And it turns into a run for Miami.
Perhaps the difference here is you get the feeling that maybe they're going to try to go first to third, and so you charge it. You're more aggressive than you normally would be because you're thinking that the runner's going to test you and try to go for third. And so Andrew McCutchen charges it hard and just kind of picked his head up before he caught it. Didn't have the glove all the way open. Looked up and snuck by.
So the defense here in the 5th inning with a breakdown. And the Pirate lead is gone. They had a 1-0 lead. Marlins tied it in the 4th. They now go ahead here in the 5th.
And hard to tell on that one, but sometimes the way they cut the grass, when they go on the crisp, like the checkered pattern, you know, obviously the grain of the grass is going in 2 different directions. And so sometimes that ball will snake on an outfielder as it rolls out there in the grass. You'll see it go back and forth a little bit. It was hard to tell on that one if that was the case or not.
Base hit for Real Muto, an error on McCutchen. There'll be no RBI. Yelich came around to score. Real Muto moves up. Nobody out. 2-ball, 1-strike count to Adeiny Hechavarria. It's in the air to right center. Polanco will make the catch. Real Muto tagging. Here comes the throw, and it is right there to get him. Wow, what a throw by Gregory Polanco. A cannon shot from right field.
Not only a great strong throw, but how about the accuracy? You know, it doesn't get any easier for a third baseman. I was shocked to see the catcher Real Muto take off right here, and Polanco not taking anything for granted. He catches it and gets rid of it, and look at the location. Look where Ramirez's glove is when he catches it. He doesn't even have to move the glove.
Amazing. Amazing throw. So outfield assists from left and right tonight. Marte throwing out Hechavarria at third in the second inning, and now Polanco throwing out Real Muto also at third. Brad Hand with 2 strikes on it. As a third baseman, you're hoping that ball doesn't short hop you, but there was no worry there by Ramirez.
No, I mean, a couple things can happen there. You know, the in-between hop, probably the toughest one. Plus, you have the runner throw coming right behind the runner. So if he doesn't throw it all the way in the air, you never know what can happen. The ball can hit off the runner. You can lose sight of it. That was perfect.
And grounds out to Harrison, but an error by McCutchen, and the Marlins get another run. Thanks for watching and rooting on your Pittsburgh Pirates. All of us at Root Sports and the Pirates appreciate your support. From Parkersburg, Pittsburgh to Miami.
They got
the
a
PMC
point.
Scoreboard says 2-1 Marlins.
Didn't realize that they had a point on the Three Rivers in Parkersburg.
That's your geography lesson for today.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever been to Parkersburg.
Jeff Branson working on the hitting with Polanco. Not talking about the defense, but it was pretty good out of right field that inning. Branson trying to help Polanco get back in the hit column. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Talk about outfield assists, Rock. The Pirates started this ball game second in the National League with 26 assists behind the Dodgers, who had 28. They've now tied the Dodgers in outfield assists.
Been pretty good. Branson obviously going over some things there with Gregory Polanco, and then looked at the beginning and maybe it was like showing that the front shoulder maybe, because Gregory at times can get pretty closed with that top half. It almost looked there for a moment like Branson was, kind of opened up his front foot as if if you open up your front foot, a lot of guys, that's why they have open stances to kind of keep you from getting too closed, especially with the top half. Hard to say exactly what Jeff Branson was talking to Polanco about, but just by the body motion, it looked like he may be referring to that a bit.
Starling Marte will lead off. Then Andrew McCutchen and Aramis Ramirez, who looked like Polanco was picking his brain a little bit there.
Everybody should pick the brain of Aramis Ramirez. That guy knows how to drive in runs. And those guys that accumulate the RBIs like he has in his career, close to 1,400, they think a little differently than the average hitter when it comes to crunch time.
Ball and 1 strike. I want to take a moment and wish all the kids returning to school good luck. These kids around the area have been returning to school this week.
Seneca Valley, Harmony, Cranberry area. They start tomorrow.
Pine Richland starts tomorrow. That time of year again.
It was a fast summer. It flew by.
That's what happens when the Pirates keep winning.
Yeah.
The days go by a little quicker. 2-1. 2-2 to Marte. I always enjoyed the first day of school.
You did?
I did. Just it was new. See friends that you hadn't seen all summer. Some of them, some you have. I like the first day of school.
Well, I tell the girls my favorite 2 days of the year is the first day of school and the day after Christmas.
Why the day after Christmas?
Get it over with. All that craziness.
You're such a romantic.
Get it over with. The first day of school.
You're a Hallmark holiday waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Humbug. In the air to right, down the line, drifting foul. And Ichiro make the catch. It stayed in play. 1 out for the Pirates now in the 6th. Here's tonight's Barrel Automotive League leader stat, Andrew McCutchen, since making his debut June 4th, 2009. 1,001 games, 1,116 hits, 231 doubles, 513 walks. So he's in the top 6 in all those categories since he made his debut in 2009. Five All-Star games, don't forget.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. And he's been in the league this long. The veteran. It's hard to not think of him as young and just always having fun. But, already his 7th year.
Strike called to McCutchen. The error on McCutchen, just his 2nd of the season. allowed the go-ahead run to score in a 2-1 ball game. Nobody on and 1 out. McCutchen had a double and has scored the Pirates' only run. He hits this one well, but right at Yelich, who won't make the play. Just to play it on the short hop. Sinking line drive, sunk quickly right in front of Yelich, and McCutchen's got his second hit.
Topspin. Sometimes topspin is a good thing. And maybe a little bit off the end of the bat. Got the good sink. Yelich unable to make the play. That little retreat, that little half a step, gives McCutchen his second knock.
Oh, 1 out. Tying run aboard for Aramis Ramirez. Folks, this one foul on the play. Ramirez has hit safely in 7 of his last 9 games. Bouncer to third. Backhanded by Prado. Goes to second for 1. Back to first. Double play. Second time Ramirez has hit into a double play in as many at bats. Head of the bottom of the 6th in Miami.
Heavy dealers, and by Day Automotive. We're gonna make your day. Let's go Bucks.
Two to 1 Marlins. With the go-ahead run of the 5th inning. Out come to bat in the bottom of the 6th. Top of the order is up. Aramis Ramirez has hit into a double play twice now. Once in the 4th, once in the 6th. After McCutchen has reached first base.
Well, the 4th was a bullet. That one, a heck of a play by Prado. Tough little pick over there.
Strange night for Ramirez. He's driven in the only Pirate run and then has helped to end 2 other innings. 1-0 to Gordon. This is the guy you want to keep off base. Get somebody in front of him, okay, but he's by himself. He will run. Bunts a curveball, and that is going to be a base hit easily. Front of the breaking ball in a good location, and he made it to first. Cervelli didn't even have to throw it. Second hit for Gordon.
Yeah, that's a dandy there. He squares late, and he deadens it to where, anytime Cervelli has to go outside that third area with a guy as fast as Gordon, no throw's going to get him.
Now Ichiro up. He is 0 for 2. There goes Gordon. Cervelli's throw too high. And another stolen base for D. Gordon. 43 on the year.
Even there, Charlie Morton does not slide step. A little bit of a higher leg lift, and Gordon took advantage. Even with the fastball out over the plate. And Cervelli knew it right away, but I don't think a perfect throw gets him. Too good of a jump.
Nobody out, runner at second. Ichiro bunts one out in front of the plate. He'll take the out at first. And that gets Gordon to third base with 1 out. So a bunt, a stolen base, and a bunt.
That's a good play. Ichiro, not his best bunt. Gave Cervelli a chance. If he bunts it down the third baseline like Gordon, probably a better chance, but got the job done. A win-win situation. If you get the bunt down, at the very least, you're going to move the runner up.
Infield will come in for Martin Prado. Prado has grounded out and flied out. This one a fair ball. Gordon will score easily. Prado will chug to second base with a run-scoring double. 3-1 Marlins.
Boy, how does he hit this pitch and keep it fair? I could see getting the barrel out early and yanking a sinker that's off the plate inside and pulling it foul. But to keep this Charlie Morton sinker fair, watch how far in this ball is. I mean, that's a good 6-8 inches off the plate in. Really got to stay inside it, almost like an alligator arm swing. And it's got some hook and, ooh, very close.
That one would be reviewable because it is after the third base umpire. Ray Searage will come out trying to slow things down. Health Network Supermo slowing it down. Yep, brought up chalk.
Wow, look at that.
That's why the chalk lines are better than paint. Then you can actually see.
You think that's chalk?
It's got to be. What's the white stuff that came up?
I've never seen them chalk grass.
I mean, typically it's painted.
Yeah.
But it brought up something.
Yeah,
paint chips maybe.
I'm guessing. But yeah, that was pretty clear. That was a great look.
Martin Prado has been on base now for the Marlins in 20 of his last 21.
And that was a heck of a swing. I mean, that's hard to do right there. Keep that pitch fair.
Charlie pitches to Justin Bour. Bour had an RBI double in the fourth inning. Double barrel action. Joe Blanton on the right. Jared Hughes is on the left. And the nightclub's behind them. Bour fouls this one back. Fish tank right there. They got a nightclub in this ballpark.
Some artwork.
1-1 pitch, and Bour hits one past a diving J-Hay. This will get Prado home. And to second base is Bohr with a second run scoring double. 4-1 Miami. And Charlie Morton is getting hit around right now.
Well, it's the same, pretty close to the same pitch that Bohr hit back in the 4th inning, the first double that drove in a run. The breaking ball away, and he goes out and smothers it again. This one up a little bit higher, but as a pitcher, you throw that, you start it off the plate, you just figure the hitter's going to take it because it looks like a ball out of the hand, but it was up enough and hit hard enough to not only beat the shift, get all the way to the wall.
And that hit is going to chase Charlie Morton out of the ball game. Well, things have not gone Charlie's way in the 4th, 5th, and the 6th after a terrific 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Here comes Jared Hughes. Charlie Morton's night is done. Time now for our Data Strong Fan photo of the game, brought to you by T-Mobile and Kevin Ziegler. 2 McCutcheon fans watching the ball game at home. Dad teaching the younger one all about the game. That's our Data Strong Fan photo of the game. Now Jared Hughes takes over to face Marcell Ozuna, and a ground ball right back to Jared. Puts the runner back and then throws to first for the out. 1 pitch, 1 out for Hughes. And there are 2 outs in the inning.
Like the quick outs from Jared Hughes. 2-1 record, 2.47 ERA. Pitching to contact.
Christian Yelich had a base hit and scored a run in the 5th.
Charlie started out pretty good. Went through the lineup the first time through, faced the minimum through 3 innings. Just didn't have the great command. Was in the strike zone, but just up in the strike zone, and the Marlins took advantage.
Third for Charlie tonight. Book is still open on him. Bohr is out at second base. He gets 3 strikeouts. To the backstop it goes. Cervelli thought he might have had a chance to throw it down. Came right off the backstop, straight back to Francisco. But the wild pitch puts Bohr at third.
To that, went right through the legs. Home plate umpire Brian Lenora thought maybe got a break as it kicked back to Cervelli, but opted to hold on to it.
Oh, Cervelli got the foul ball off the foot, I think. Came right off the bat of Yelich. Hit Cervelli in a tough spot. Chris Stewart knows what that's all about. He's thinking about maybe getting ready here. He'll start to stretch some just in case.
Yeah, they take a beating. Catchers. Somewhere on the right foot. Like the instep.
Tested out with Crouch. Cervelli will stay in. Francisco good to go here with 2 down in the bottom of the 6th inning. Yelich with a 1-ball 2-strike count on it. Outside 2-2. 76 on the season. Again, Yelich off the disabled list today. And he slices one into left center field. Another run will come in. Yelich heading for second base, and McCutchen's throw is way high. That'll be a double for Yelich, and a run scored for Justin Bour. That'll close the book on Charlie Morton. It's now a 5-1 Miami lead. And the Pirates' bats have been relatively quiet against Brad Hand through the first 6 innings tonight.
And not a horrible location. Yelich, though, so good with his hands. And I talked about the Prado at bat where he kept the Morton sinker fair. Yelich, you try to pull that ball, you end up getting jammed, and you hit a weak grounder to the right side. You pull the hands in, you hit a line drive. And that's another tough pitch to be able to drive anywhere, let alone the opposite gap.
JT Realmuto, the catcher, 1 for 2 tonight. 0-1 pitch. In for a strike. It's 0-2. Hughes allowing the inherited runner to score. That's something you don't see often. His bullpen has been primarily a shutdown kind of bullpen lately. Popped up on the infield. Jared pointing up to the ceiling of the dome, and underneath it is Michael Morse for the catch. 3 runs for the Marlins in the 6th. They now lead at 5-1.
Be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Let's take a look now at the Nissan Road ahead. Tomorrow, Game 3 of this series. We're on the air on Root Sports at 6:30 in the evening. Jeff Locke at 6 and 8. The left-hander faces another left-hander, Chris Narveson, who is 1-0 with the Marlins. Garrett Cole pitched Thursday night against left-hander Justin Nicolino. That is the road ahead before the Pirates will head back home for a 3-game weekend set against Colorado. Jeff preparing himself for his start tomorrow night. Pirates on the wrong end of a 5-1 score right now. Third time around against Brad Hand. Trying to find a way to bunch some hits and get those runs back. And has given up 5 hits to the Pirates. Cervelli has one of them. He takes a strike. But there's only been one time in the game where there have been back-to-back hits. McCutchen's double in the first, followed by Ramirez's base hit to get him in. You got to bunch up some hits to get some runs. One to Cervelli. Michael Morse on deck, then Josh Harrison to follow. McCutchen with an error in the 5th inning that allowed Yelich to score the go-ahead run. Pirates went up 1-0. Marlins tied it in the 4th, one ahead in the 5th. This one's up in the air right field. Ichiro Suzuki under it. One out. One gone, top of the 7th.
And has also done a pretty good job getting leadoff batter. 6 of the 7 innings. He's retired the first batter up. Been pretty efficient. Just 83 pitches through now 6 1/3.
Morse is 0 for 2. Wide right, struck out looking. And he's got himself a hit. Solid single to right field. The Pirates with a base runner in the 7th.
Morris, long arms. That pitch, not a bad pitch. I mean, he's on the edge. He's down. Morris. Short to the ball. We've seen him hit a lot of pitches the other way.
Josh Harrison looking for his first hit of the ball game. It's in the air to right. He won't have it here. Josh is 0 for 3. He's flat out twice now to right field. And Josh back to the dugout with a purpose. One on, 2 out for Jordy Mercer. Mercer single to right field in the 5th inning. Pirates 3.5 games behind the Cardinals in the Central Division. Cardinals and Diamondbacks will start later. Cubs are 6.5 back of the Cardinals, 3 behind the Pirates, and the Cubs and Giants begin their game in a bit in San Francisco. I think, John, it'll be a great time for San Francisco to start getting hot because they still have the Cardinals to play right after the Cubs.
Yeah, they got a couple of big series ahead of them. And they're still thinking about the division, although they're falling back in the wild card. They're right in the thick of things in the West.
1-1. Strike call to the inside corner. Jose Fernandez is out again due to injury. Came back from Tommy John surgery. That didn't work out. So now he's got to watch and rehab. Marlins miss him in the rotation.
Jordy can get on. Jung Ho Kang in the on deck circle. Somehow Jordy gets on here. Give Kang a chance to make it a one-run ball game.
2-2 to Mercer from Brad Hand. And Ichiro will chase after this one. He makes all 3 putouts. No runs, a hit. 1 man left. Stretch time in South Florida.
From Pittsburgh 2003 and Pittsburgh 2015.
The team, I mean, this is a really, really good team. That's why with 20 plus getting over 500. Good group of guys, great group of guys. A good mix of nice veterans and a lot of talent, especially on the outfield with Polanco, Koch, and Marte. This is gonna be a good team for a while.
And Ramos, hopefully this version of the good team is the one that wins the World Series in his final go-round. Ramos Ramirez, great honest stuff from him. Also on the pregame show on Twitter Tuesday, Tim and John.
Thanks, Robbie. Ramos had his post at third base, and shortstop for the Marlins, Denny Hechavarria at the plate. 1-0 the count. He goes to right field. Polanco on the run, and he won't get it. Hechavarria can run. He is not stopping around second, heading for third. The relay is going to be late. And a triple for Denny Hechavarria.
Boy, he was flying. Hard hit ball, the opposite gap, showing some pretty good pop. And as soon as he hits this ball, you see another Marlins hitter staying inside of an inside pitch, the sinker from Hughes and going the other way. That's a great approach. And his first step out of the batter's box, he was thinking 3. Gets there easily. Boy, he didn't even look to the gap. He was thinking 3 before he got to first. Typically, you get a read of where the ball is when you're going between first and second. He didn't even look out to right center.
pitch to Brad Hand, 0-2. The Marlins lead the majors in triples during the month of August with 12. Three-base hit, nobody out, and the pitcher lines it right to Ramirez. One out for Miami in the 7th.
Perfectly placed, Ramirez, and you can see Echeverria not moving. He wasn't going anywhere. He was told to see the ball through the infield. You're always told when you're at third base you don't want to be any further from that bag than the third baseman is from the bag for that particular reason. If your lead is further away from the bag than the third baseman is, that line drive could take the third baseman right to the bag, and you end up getting doubled off, and so you're told to keep it short.
And a comebacker, and they've got Echeverria in a rundown. Gordon doesn't realize it, and he is still at first base. Wow. Gordon never took a turnaround first.
Yeah, as a hitter, you want the RBI, and there's a runner at third, and the contact play, he knows the ball's right back at Hughes, and that Hughes is going home, and so once you make contact and there's a play at the plate, he knows they're going home, and so now you're no longer a hitter, you're a base runner, and it's your job to get to second base. I mean, runner at third is going on contact. His job is to stay in a rundown long enough so the batter can get to second base. And for whatever reason, D. Gordon just decided to kind of jog through the bag. But your mindset should be, well, I could just get myself back in the scoring position.
Pitch out. Pirates expecting Gordon to try to get himself over there now. Gordon second in the National League in steals behind Billy Hamilton of Cincinnati. Hamilton with 54, Gordon with 43. And there he goes. And he's got number 44, his third stolen base of the game.
And that could have been what he was thinking. Well, why should I run to second when I could just kind of stop at first and pick up another stolen base? Might only take me a pitch or two to get in the scoring position, and I can get 3 bags today. Is that ball? It looked like it got by Cervelli, hit home plate umpire Brian Honora in the shin guard.
2 outs, and Ramos Ramirez playing off of third base, and Jared giving him a look. There might be something in the back of D. Gordon's mind, thinking he's got to do a lot of work to catch Hamilton. But he would love to lead the league in steals. Strike called to Suzuki. Now 10 behind Hamilton. That'll be a lot of ground to make up. Reds just started their game against the Dodgers at home tonight. And they're in the bottom of the first inning. Dodgers with a 1-0 lead. Now he goes down to third base. And you figured it was just a matter of time with 2 outs and Ramos playing off the bag. And that's 45, and that's 4 steals in the game for D. Gordon.
And, who cares? So what? I mean, that's just one of those things where he's padding his stats. It's a situation with 2 outs. You're not worried about a stolen base. I mean, if Suzuki hits a base hit, he's scoring anyhow.
On his foul.
I guess unless he hits bunt base. But now, Suzuki going to have to swing it. By the way, I saw something at homestand. I can't remember who it was, but the pitcher bunted for a hit with 2 strikes.
The Diamondbacks.
I've always wondered why pitchers, especially pitchers that can't hit, why not? Who cares? The infielders move back, throw down a bunt with 2 strikes. Even some hitters that are good bunters that are struggling swinging. I've always thought that was kind of odd that you never saw guys. I mean, I've seen it here and there, but it's very rare.
Yeah, that was Chase Anderson of the Diamondbacks who did it last Tuesday.
Yeah, I think that's a great play for a pitcher, especially a pitcher that can't hit. What difference does it make? If you can't hit anyhow, why not just try to bunt with 2 strikes? Most of them strike out half the time anyhow.
Payoff pitch. And he's walked it. First and third with 2 men out.
And you never know here. It wouldn't surprise me here if Suzuki could still run at his age, 41. He's 10 for 15 and stolen bases. And it wouldn't surprise me if he takes out that D. Gordon doesn't try to steal home. Double steal. Wouldn't surprise me at all if the Pirates choose to throw through.
Prado with a double in the 6th, drove in a run and scored a run. Pitch inside to him. You can hear him trying to get out of the way. And it's a 1-0 count, 2 outs, runners in scoring position, a 204 average. There goes Ichiro. And they're going to let him go.
Big jump.
Well, the Marlins have stolen 5 bases off the Pirates tonight. Two.
Good slider, good location.
Pirates have won their last 6 straight against Miami, 16-5 in their last 21. Good stop by Cervelli, preventing Gordon from coming in. And you don't know here because when the ball comes off this particular backstop, it can come right back to the catcher.
94 hitting in front of the plate. Saw that last night. The Marlin reliever throwing a fastball that bounced in front of the plate.
2-2 to Prado from Jarrett Hughes. Down to Ramirez. No runs. 1 hit and 2 left. On to the 8th.
5-1 in the top of the 8th inning. Well, D. Gordon is one of the fastest men in baseball, as we're seeing tonight. He also leads all baseball with 154 hits and a .332 average. Now, if he stays on this track, he'd be the first Marlin to lead a league in hits since Juan Pierre back in 2004. Well, that'd be pretty cool for Gordon because Pierre is the guy that Gordon has modeled his game after. Now, back in 08 and 09, Gordon was a prospect in the Dodger system while Pierre was playing for the big club. D would stop his routine and take a few minutes to watch Pierre take BP. Then he'd go back and finish doing what he was doing. And he also had videos at home of Juan Pierre hitting that he would study. Now, Pierre was just honored here at Marlins Park on Sunday, along with Dontrell Willis, 2 key members of that 2003 World Series team. Tim?
They remember them here at Marlins Park. 2003 was a very good year, the second of 2 World Championships for the Marlins. 1997, the first year, that was the John Wayner year.
You know, Juan Pierre, when he came up, and he came up in a hurry. I want to say he went through, you know, from A-ball to big leagues in the same year, if I'm not mistaken. And it was like he hit close to 400 every step of the way, bunting the ball, slapping the ball around.
Jung Ho with a pinch hit single to right.
Jung Ho making it look easy after sitting on the bench, gets a pitch. Out over. Man, that's pretty good stuff right there. Some guys just make it look easy. Hitting is not that easy. But yeah, if you're a fast guy and you want to model your game after somebody, Juan Pierre is a great guy to do it. A great bunter, good hitter. I know Brett Butler's still in uniform here with the Marlins. That's another guy you talk about slapping it around, one of the best bunters ever. Collect a lot of hits with that approach.
Polanco's 0 for 3 tonight. Brett Butler.
He was a magician with the bat.
Secret why the Marlins seem to bunt quite a bit.
And it was like when Brett Butler was up, I mean, you'd literally have to play him like 30, 35 feet in front of the bag. I mean, you were so far in. It was like a pitcher bunting for a sacrifice. But that was the only way you could take away a bunt from him, because he had a way of bunting the ball on the third base line as he's running out, and he would stop the ball like 15 to 20 feet away from home plate. I mean, he just, it was incredible. So, you know, when I came in as far as I could, and then you kind of made him swing it. And there were times he would slap it by you. He was really good at that, too, getting on top of the ball the other way. You know, but that was the only way to stop him from bunting. I mean, that's certain guys, that's how you took it away. In fact, when Juan Pierre was making his march to the big leagues with Colorado in 2000, you know, I played against him. I was playing some second base in AAA, and I did the same thing there. At second, I played him in like a pitcher was bunting, because he would drag the ball past the pitcher, and so there was, if you played a normal second base, you had nothing to do, so you had to came way in, and you tell the first baseman, if it's on the line, I'll cover first, like a pitcher was bunting. But if it's hard past the pitcher, you stay home, and you know, I'll be in to get it. You know, guys like that, I mean, you have to make them swing the bat to beat you.
Polanco down on strikes, and Gregory is 0 for 4 against Brad Hand. Gregory's having a tough night against the lefty.
Well, Hand's been pretty good. I mean, he's located the fastball. He's got good late movement with the fastball. He hasn't gone to the breaking ball very often, but you see the slider there in the dirt. Polanco unable to pick up the spin or lay off. Not a lot of strikeouts, just 4. He's gotten Gregory twice.
One out, Marte at the plate. Fouls it on to the right. hand at 97 pitches. And Marlins starting to think about the rest of the game in terms of pitching right now. Oh, 1 to Starling. Takes a strike, and it's 0-2. Bear Claw is up. The Pirates had hoped to be into the Marlins bullpen a lot earlier than this. Brad Hand pitching the game of his season right now. He strikes out Marte. Point Park University tweet the booth using the hashtag BucksBooth. Greenville, PA checking in. Thanks to Ben for that. Ben Kosminski. There's a lot of black and gold here.
Greenville, isn't that where Nolan Reimold's from? I think I just saw his name. He just unfortunately, I think, got designated. Baltimore Orioles.
Andrew McCutchen swings at the first pitch, grounds it to third. Prado throw him out. Well, the bats really have let the Pirates down tonight through 8 innings. Brad Hand has kept them in control. And struck out 2 in the last inning. Got Polanco and Marte before McCutchen grounded out after giving up a leadoff base hit to Jung Ho Kang. And Antonio Bastardo comes on to face the Marlins in the bottom of the 8th.
50th appearance, 4-1 the record, 3.51 the ERA, as many strikeouts as innings pitched, 21 walks, 4 homers. Opponents hit just .213 against them. Hoping to keep it a 4-run game and see if the Pirates can do some damage in the 9th. Jeff Locke, tomorrow's starter. Gotta say happy birthday to John Pope, 59 years old. They had a mayor in Carrick. He'd be the mayor.
Well, why can't he be the Pope? Be one or the other.
Yeah.
Here's Justin Bour Got 2 doubles tonight.
So Bob Faust's birthday. Wish him a happy birthday as well from Lehigh Valley.
Ball and 1 strike.
They're tuned in, not real happy with the 5-1 loss. Oh, loss. It's not over yet.
A little ahead,
My
a little
gosh,
ahead of yourself
I'm
there,
so
Rock.
bad. I'm such a bad person.
This is baseball, remember.
I know. My
Anything can
goodness
happen.
gracious. What's wrong with me?
Yeah, how many innings we got?
Just yeah. One more to go. Crazier things have happened. Yeah, Mr. Hand has been pretty good.
And he did it on our time tonight.
Yeah.
Bohr goes down swinging. There's 1 out. Stardo gets him.
Bohr's been pretty good too. A couple of doubles, a couple of RBIs, but Bastardo better here in the 8th. Good fastball, good location. Gets the wave in the mist. Losing it. I'm going to quit talking. You finish.
Ozuna takes a strike. Yeah, that was a good pitch, too. It's not to help you out there, Rock. Nothing at 2. No balls, 2 strikes to Ozuna. Ozuna is 0 for 3 tonight. He's grounded out twice. Flied out once. Swings and strikes out, and Bastardo comes out of the bullpen and strikes out 2. Bastardo pitched last night, faced 2 men, and became a save situation when both got on base, and then Melanson came in to finish it off, and it was similar to a recent appearance he had at home. So 2 of those recently, the Pirates were able to escape it, but here, putting his foot down. Now he'll try to do it again against Christian Yelich.
He still has that explosive fastball, especially when he gets it up above the belt. Tough pitch to lay off of, a tough pitch to get on top of.
Ball to second. Nice backhand stop by Jay. And Bastardo gets a 1-2-3 inning. We head to the top of the 9th inning. Brad Hand coming back out. This Sunday, the Bucks take on the Rockies at 1:35. All kids 14 and under receive a pitching grip baseball thanks to Chevron. Get to the ballpark early and let the kids explore the #1 Cochran Family Fun Zone on Federal Street. After the game, kids run the bases, courtesy of Original Pizza Laws. For tickets, go to pirates.com. Bucco fans, all the Bucco teams, all the Pittsburgh teams, rather, well represented there. Penguins, Steelers, of course, a lot of Pirates gear here tonight. But Brad Hand will try for a complete game now. So far, 100 pitches. This is the longest outing of his career. And a strike to Aramis Ramirez.
You don't see it very often. Pitchers starting an inning at 100. Even last night's game, Dan Jennings let his starter go out there with what I think 98.
No pitcher on the Marlins staff has a complete game this year. Let Brad Hand go, see what he can come up with. Oh-2. And Ramirez. It's a slow roller down the third baseline. Ramirez beats it out. Field single for Aramis Ramirez. Probably doesn't have a lot of those left.
Nope, we don't see too many infield singles from Remy. Just out in front a little bit there. It looked like maybe a change-up pitch that was well off the plate. The swinging bunt that works.
Leadoff man aboard. The batter is Cervelli.
Just looking, there's not many teams without a complete game. In the American League, just Baltimore is without a complete game. In the National League, oddly enough, two of the better staffs, Pittsburgh Pirates and the New York Mets, without a complete game, along with these Marlins.
Hand's 1-0. Fouled back. Well, Hand has 2 complete games, but in the minor leagues, 2010 in Jupiter, started 26 games in Single A, and then came up with 2 complete games. Now, don't know if there were 7-inning complete games or not, because in the minor leagues you can play 7 innings as part of a doubleheader. Listed for Hand as 2 minor league complete games. This one driven to right center field. And now the Pirates have 2 on and nobody out. And the Marlins probably get a little more serious about not having a complete game.
My guess is he's not going to get the complete game. We'll see. 2 on, nobody out. 106 pitches. Ramos ready to go. Another good swing from Cervelli. UPMC Sports Medicine strike zone. That pitch thigh high, outer third.
Dan Jennings coming out to get Brad Hand, who will go 8 + 2 hitters. And he will not have a complete game. Well, they gave him an opportunity. And the Marlins will have to go to the bullpen, but a career-long outing as a major leaguer for Brad Hand. 2 on, nobody out for the Pirates in the top of the 9th. 6:30 with Pirates pregame presented by WB Mason on Root Sports. Battle of lefties. Jeff Locke, 6-8. Chris Narveson, 1-0 with the Marlins. Maybe he'll be back tomorrow to see a win. 5-1 Marlins. And the new pitcher is A.J. Ramos.
Ramos looking for his 22nd save. You see there, he's blown 5. 1-4 record, 56th appearance. ERA at 2.85. 70 punch outs in 53 2/3. League hits just 180 against him. And he has an assortment of pitches. Not a real hard thrower. Not a fireballer, but throws a fastball, slider, cutter, curveball, changeup.
Neil Walker will pinch hit. Two on, nobody out. Tying run in the on-deck circle, so it is a save situation now for Ramos, as Brock mentioned. Strike to Walker. Brad Hand talking about his outing with Jose Fernandez, who wishes he was the guy out there. Fernandez on the DL. It's 0-2. Ninth time Ramos has appeared against the Pirates. Thrown 8 innings. Giving up a run. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Throwing that fastball, I think, on purpose, way out of the zone, just to try to speed up the bat.
Inside. And now Real Muto wants to have a word with Ramos.
Exactly sure what that pitch was. 85 miles per hour. Didn't miss by much. Didn't get the chase that he was hoping for.
Pirates have 9 hits, but only twice in the game have they had back-to-back hits. Once producing a run. That was in the first inning. Second time here in the 9th inning with Ramirez and Cervelli. Two to Walker. And it's dropped by Real Muto. Emil hangs in there.
Change up.
Neil hoping to make Ramos pay now that he gets a break. Inside, ball 3. Now Ramos is a pitch away from loading the bases. Josh Harrison in the on-deck circle in front of the fish tank. Mr. Hand looks nervous.
Real nervous if Neil can get on.
Walker strikes out. And 1 out in the 9th.
Now you're thinking a 5-1 ball game. He can't walk you. He has to throw you a strike. You know, and some of these guys, these closers, they just have the guts of a burglar. He comes with the changeup again, and you see the downward movement. You know, Neil's thinking he's getting a fastball. He doesn't pick up the speed there.
Jay now trying to move the runners around. 1 ball and no strikes. Josh 0 for 3 tonight. Pirates down to their final 2 outs. Ramirez at second base and Cervelli at first. A.J. Ramos with a 1-0 pitch. One and one. Not going to have much hair left if he keeps doing that, pulling it out. Jay with a base hit. Ramirez is going to be held at third base, and the bases are loaded. So Harrison with a base hit, and Clint Hurdle's going to send up Pedro Alvarez.
Well, that's all you ask for, a chance to tie things up with one swing. Jay Hayes had some good at bats, no luck. 3 pop-ups there. The breaking ball down and out of the zone, and man, we've seen him do it so much as a Pirate. Able to take good pitcher's pitches and drive them the other way.
Well, the Pirates fans on the edges of their seats now as the tying run comes to the plate in the 9th.
And Cervelli may be banged up again.
Cervelli needs some attention. Hurdle coming out. Also Ben Potenziano.
Yeah, now he was it looked like Cervelli was wanting to go first to third on that ball, assuming that Ramirez was going to be waved home, and so he did take a hard turn around second, had to put on the brakes and retreat. And the left leg, or the left foot, that was not the foot that took the foul ball. You see the throw coming in, and Cervelli coming back as he put on the brakes and
jammed his foot in. That doesn't always feel good. Those bases have little to no give.
He looked fine right there when he got up. He looked like he was okay. He was looking over at third because he was surprised that Ramirez got held up, and I guess maybe the pain came later because then he took a little walk, called timed out, but he's okay.
So here's Pedro. The bases loaded, 1 out, top of the 9th. Hits are even 10 apiece. 5-1, Marlins lead it. A.J. Ramos looking in at Real Muto for a sign. First pitch to Pedro. Ball 1. First time the Pirates have loaded the bases in the game. First time they've had 3 hits in an inning. One-0 pitch. And Pedro hits it to the right side. D. Gordon will take the out. Pirates will get a run. But now there are 2 down. Ramirez comes in to score. It's a 5-2 ball game. Three and a run banded in. Now Sean Rodriguez.
Yeah, no sense messing around. The runners on base are meaningless. So D. Gordon, instead of trying to turn and make a quick throw to second base, you weren't going to get a double play there.
Almost didn't look pleased that he gave up the run, but he got one more out closer. Got out number 26, and Rodriguez waves at that one.
It's not like, it's not throwing a lot of fastballs, Ramos. A lot of off-speed stuff. Change up the slider. Rodriguez out in front.
Sean takes a strike, and the Pirates down to the last one. Gonzalez wants to throw the ball. Brad Hand would pick up his 4th win. To Rodriguez. Check swing.
Another off-speed pitch. I think that time a change-up. Rodriguez barely moved the bat.
Two. Outside. Count is even. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gregory would like to face the right-hander. Second and third. 2 out. Ramos pitch to Sean Rodriguez. This one is in the air to shallow center, coming on Ozuna, and that's the ball game. And the Marlins steal one here tonight. 5 stolen bases contributed to Brad Hand's performance, keeping the Pirates in check through 8+ innings tonight. A career-long outing for Hand. He picks up his 4th win to go against 3 losses. Charlie Morton will get the loss tonight. And the Pirates really couldn't bunch any hits until the 9th, and they just picked up 1 run on it.
Yeah, too little, too late. You got to tip your cap to Brad Hand. I thought he pitched a good ball game. He pitched a smart ball game. He had good command, good movement. We just couldn't get much going off him. And Charlie Morton, unfortunately, was a little bit up in the zone, particularly with the curveball, and it hurt him a couple of times.
Well, the Pirates go back.